everything you say will be heard. And this is going on YouTube, so it's just how it works. Okay, so starts dark green, dark green, dark green, dark green, dark green. But we had a little issue right whenever we added something yesterday. What did we add and automatically the color changed? Yeast. Automatically it changed to orange yellow, right? So yellow orange kind of color. When you added the LODA, did it change color? No. When you added the LODA, no. Your control, you didn't add anything, right?
No.
So it didn't change. When you added the human,
Yes.
what happened? It turned yellow orange, right? Okay, so that was after breathing in for like what, a minute? It turned orange. Some people it was like a minute. Some people have like really carbon dioxide heavy breath. Okay, some of us don't have so much carbon dioxide. The control from yesterday to today, what did you see? Control. Did the control do anything? The control is a control for a reason, because you want to use it as a comparison from beginning to end, because it shouldn't be treated with any kind of independent variable. So, should you have seen a change in the control? No, it should be dark green still, okay? It should not have changed at all. The yeast didn't change any further because it changed immediately. That one has an immediate result. The rest of these take a day to look at, okay? So the yeast, we saw the yellow-orange still. It didn't change anymore, but that's going to give us a clue as to what yeast can do. The LODA and the light, which was the uncovered tube, test tube 2, and the LODA in the dark, did they look different? Yes. What was the color of the LODA in the light? Blue. Okay, so yesterday I told you that the presence of what caused an orange color or a yellow color? Carbon dioxide. So far we know that something to do with carbon dioxide for the human, something to do with carbon dioxide for the yeast, but then this is blue. So think about what other gas could cause a blue color change. Or, because we're talking about photosynthesis and cellular respiration, what are the gases we're concerned about? Oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? So carbon dioxide is causing an orange-yellow color to occur. The blue is going to be representing the presence of oxygen, okay? And then the last one, this one was really hard to see. I should have put him in the, actually no. This one's really hard to see because I did not dilute the bromomethyl blue as much as I probably could have. It started off really dark green, but whenever you see a change, what was the slightest change you saw? Or what was something you could tell me about your observations? Kind of a lighter green? And that's because the dark green mixed with a little bit of yellow that was produced made it lighter green. So you didn't see yellow, but I'm telling you now there was yellow that was represented in that one. Okay? So that one's the yellow one, which represents what gas? CO2, right. Okay, so the common thread here is CO2 is produced in these organisms, plants. What was the yeast classified as? Fungus and animals. Okay, so this carbon dioxide presence is representing what process that's occurring? Cellular respiration, okay? So in each of these tubes, cellular respiration, cellular respiration, cellular respiration was occurring. Why was the plant able to do cellular respiration but not photosynthesis?
There wasn't light.
There was no, that one ingredient that needed light was not able to penetrate the aluminum foil, therefore it was not able to do photosynthesis. This one was able to because it had no foil covering it, okay? So when the plant has to make a decision between doing photosynthesis to make energy or to make glucose, or doing cellular respiration to make energy to run the processes that it needs to do, if there's no light, it can't do photosynthesis. So it has to choose the cellular respiration. It's going to use the pent-up energies that it has in its cells. So the pent-up glucose that it has in cells. So plants can do respiration. We saw that because it did make a lighter green color, which was the yellow. This one was definitely doing what? What process? Photosynthesis, because it did have all ingredients needed to do photosynthesis, okay? Good? That lab done? Yes, all questions done? Pass it up? I'll get it from the front tables in a second. All right, let's do notes on photosynthesis, and then I'll let you guys work for a little bit. And as you can, people, I'll talk to you a little bit later. Thank you for passing it up, and then pulling out some of the notes on. Don't cry. Just pass up the lab and I'll get it. Thank you. All the people can get us. Okay, so we have a leaf here. We're going to do a little diagram with a leaf later. right there. Thanks. Just put it on the front stations, I'll get it. We're going to do a little foldable with the leaf later, but I want you to know that leaves do have multiple layers of tissue, and the sunlight can penetrate all layers of tissue. It's just not every bit of it's going to be absorbing it. What specifically is going to be absorbing the absorbing the sunlight? Not all the chloroplast. Just the, what was the part with the chlorophyll in it? The chloroplast is the whole shebang. What's the part just with the chlorophyll? Thank you, the thylakoid, okay? So we need to know that the thylakoid is actually the part we're talking about. We're talking about photosynthesis and the light reactions. I'm going to skip this. You can do it, man. Unless you're really dead. You're apparently dead. Sorry. All right, we're going to skip that for a second. We were talking about that yesterday. I showed you my joke yesterday. We did that. Okay, so we're here. The two main stages you need to be able to identify as photosynthesis. They make up two steps, the light reactions and the dark reactions. Why am I saying the light reactions when it's called a light dependent reaction? What does that dependent word right there mean? Right, so it's not an independent woman, it needs a man, it needs the light, okay? So it requires light to occur. So when is this going to happen? What part of the day? Daytime, right? So this is going to happen in daytime. Okay, so then light independent reactions, they don't need light, so they are called the dark reactions because there's just the simplest way to say it is it doesn't need light, so you call it the dark reactions. So the dark reactions is commonly what we call it. So those scientists like to, when they discover something, they have to put their name on it. So eventually there's going to be like an enlonium up there on the periodic table, because I will discover an element. But people name things after themselves. So who do you think discovered if dark reactions occurred?
Calvin.
I'm going to go with Calvin too. Okay, so Mr. Calvin, Dr. Calvin, was the one who named it. So you need to recognize these three names for the same process. I'm sorry, biologists like to name things like 15 million times. An autotroph is a plant, which is a photosynthesizer, which is a producer. Okay, so there's like 15 names for the same thing. All right, so we're going to take notes on these individual stages, okay? Good? It's on the next couple slides too, actually. Anytime you see the word PS, it means photosynthesis. I get a little lazy. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this picture, and then we're going to draw a picture later. So what happens is, what are the three ingredients for photosynthesis? Sun, water, carbon dioxide. Okay, so there's water here, there's sun here. They both go into the chloroplast in the thylakoids. The carbon dioxide goes someplace else. It goes to the stroma. They make two different things. So these two coming together makes oxygen, and then the carbon dioxide goes through the Calvin cycle, aka the dark reactions, and makes C6H12O6 glucose. So I remember that these go together because it's carbon dioxide C, Calvin C, C for glucose, C6H12O6. Okay, so those three C's go together, and in one stage of photosynthesis, the other stuff goes in the other one, and that's what we're going to learn a lot about today. Okay, it works. Okay, I'm going to take a minute, let you guys write that down. There's 3 really wordy slides today, but it's the best I can do. That's a lot of information, so I'll give you a second. And I'll scroll up for you in a second. I'm still swooping around for vocabulary so it's not visible. Make it visible, please.
Somewhere. Can you link my YouTube channel in this video?
Is there what?
Can you link my YouTube channel in this video?
Sure. Can you follow me on YouTube? That's nice. I won't follow you on Twitter. I will not follow you on Twitter. I actually have like 60 followers, just FYI, if you're wondering.
Wow, big time.
I'm rolling. I'm getting my students. I don't want to take it. And then my dad follows me. That was fun.
How many followers does he have?
My dad, I don't know. He just got on Google Plus and he's 24 followers.
Who uses that?
Google Plus is the new
Facebook.
the new.
It's really not up there.
It's really good.
Exactly.
Almost done, guys? Almost. Sorry. I do apologize. Already sometimes long. Never boring ones. Never.
No, from that side.
All more parts, like just a little bit. Highlighting the most important parts here. And while I'm thinking about it, write down the equation for photosynthesis so I can tell you what parts are important for which reactions. So, sun. Alright, so if it's light dependent, it means it requires the absorption of sunlight. Well, the only thing that can absorb sunlight is going to be the thylakoids because it's going to be containing the chlorophyll, okay? So the where part is it makes common sense. The what part, though, is there's tons of details in this. I do not actually fully understand photosynthesis. I did not know what I did not know until I got to college. I was like, there's more? I thought it was just water and sun, and that was it. But there's a lot going on here, but I'm just going to briefly tell you. The light comes in, it energizes the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll gets a little bit of energy, and it makes a couple molecules of ATP energy, okay? So that's why we have to know that it's making a tiny bit of ATP, because that point has to occur before the dark reactions can even exist. So that's why this right here is important during the light stage, the light phase, okay? Because it's going to be used in the dark reactions I think here. The two things that are really going to be used, though, in this reaction are sun and water. The sun comes in, it energizes the chlorophyll. The water doesn't do a whole lot. It just makes a byproduct. What was our byproduct yesterday? Oxygen, okay? And that process we saw in the video was photolysis or photolysis, if you want to break it down like that. Photolysis refers to photo, which means the sun or the light, and lysis referred to breaking down or splitting. So it's taking water and it's breaking it up into a H plus and an O2, which is that oxygen byproduct, and that's what comes out, okay? So in our photosynthesis equation, the stuff here in orange is the light phase, the light stage, and so these are the reactants for light dependent reactions, and this is the product of the light dependent reaction. Okay, so what else do we have to produce? It's not been produced yet. Glucose. We have to make glucose from the carbon dioxide. So that's going to happen in the next stage, which is the dark reaction, okay? So I want you to be able to recognize that with this. This NADPH thing is going to be, we're going to hit it, but we're not going to focus on it because NADPH is an electron carrier. So if you want to add a little blurb right here, it's an electron carrier, and it carries electrons and energy to the next phase. And that's going to be important because that dark reaction doesn't have anything going for it. It doesn't have any light to help it occur, so it has to have something to help it occur. And that's going to be the NADP or NADP plus and the ATP released. Okay, so this right here is important, but we're not going to focus as much on it because we want to know the general picture, not the specific minute details. All right, so here's this. If you want to give a quick sketch, you're going to be sketching this again later. If you want to sketch it later, that's fine with me. But this represents what here?
Thylakoids.
Okay, this is a bunch of thylakoids.
Grana.
Grana. Okay, so this is actually the grana. Water comes in, light comes in, out comes oxygen. Okay, so that's how far we've gotten. What else is produced though? Okay, and this ATP is going to be used to do what?
Power the light.
Power the dark reactions. That's going to be right here. And this NADPH is the electron carrier, and it's bringing some energy over there as well. Okay, so far all of it's in the thylakoid. Then you have this, and I'll be quiet unless you write that down. Take a minute there. I told you there's 3 big healthy slides here. I will go back a little later when you guys are starting to draw these things, okay? I promise. And all these notes are online. I always post blank notes for some people who just like to listen in class and just write minimal. I always post things before. Alrighty, you keep writing, but also write down this information about parts of the reactants that are used for the dark and the products that are created from the dark reactions. And notice that's the carbon, the carbon, the carbon. So the carbon, the Calvin, the carbon. The Calvin cycle is the other name for the dark reactions. So this one, since it requires no light, it doesn't have to happen in that place where the light is absorbed. So it's going to happen in the place where there is no chlorophyll. That is the stroma. There's no chlorophyll in the stroma. That's the syrup. You know, your thylakoid pancakes, giant, you're on a stack, and then you pour your stroma syrup over it. Okay? So this one's pretty easy. The carbon makes the glucose, and that makes sense because there's carbon in glucose. The only important thing we just have to remember is that how is it fired? How is it kind of running? It's running off the little bit of ATP energy made from the light reactions. And so that's why I repeated that yet again. When would this occur? During the night, right? You have to know it's happening during the night. So plants are still making the other parts of the products, which is the glucose here, during the night. So they're not sleeping, they're actually still working. I see a couple more faces looking here. I'll give you a second. And I just put product, reactant for the dark, and then the product of the dark. Okay, so here's this one. You see again, the reaction is going to be fired by or driven by the ATP and the NADPH inner electron carrier. This is the Calvin cycle, and it's literally a cycle. That's why it's got this cyclic area here. The carbon dioxide comes in, it goes through here, actually goes through the Calvin cycle 2 times, and I'll show you why. It goes through twice, and it makes a glucose molecule. So again, this happens in the thylakoids, this happens in the stroma. And then this one gives back the waste of this. So ATP gets used and it makes ADP. So then what is the light reaction going to do with the ADP? Make ATP again. And so this little thing happens over and over and over again. And you'll see the NADPH, it gets used up, and it's just remember the H goes away, and then it comes back, goes back in the thylakoid. The sun gives it the H plus back to make this again. So that's also a cycle. So they just reuse their materials over and over and over again. And I can always come back to this for those of you who are drawing it. Okay, this is the important part about that you need to know about the Calvin cycle. It runs twice to make one glucose molecule. So this is equivalent to which other reactions? Sorry, it's up there. Dark reactions. The dark reactions go twice through to make one glucose. So for it to make tons and tons and tons and tons of glucose, it's going to double whatever those tons and tons and tons are. And that's because this picture, you saw it in your book, you saw it when you were drawing probably, it comes in with a carbon dioxide, and it makes this little, can't really see it here. I'll wait and I'll scroll up. So you wrote down happens twice to make one glucose. At the bottom, it makes this little C, C, C. Well, how many carbons are in glucose? 6. So it makes a CCC here. So it's got to go through one more time to make another CCC, which would then make 6 C's, so C6H12O6. So that's why it's happened twice. And I didn't draw it right, but you can see that the end product effort goes through 2 times.
It has to go through twice to make glucose.
Right, so the dark reactions occur 2 cycles to make 1 glucose. Right at the top. So this is like getting chemistry rich. Okay, so the photosynthesis, it's kind of fun after you get the hang of it, but there's a lot of terminology we have to practice a lot. Oh, speaking of terminology, stand up for me. This is my favorite part. Stand up, stand up, stand up. And you have a perk here. Everybody's got to stand up, because this is when you start getting sleepy. And I need you to participate for me, because when you practice it, you will remember it. I promise. It's cheesy as all get out, but you'll be okay. All right. So look at somebody you want to call your partner. I think it's my partner. Find somebody to look at so you guys can laugh together. Ready? Okay. Let me show you how this is done. Everybody up, and the sun, and the rain. I gotta get in with it. The rain.
The rain.
And the sea. Oh, 2 makes food. Nom, nom, nom. Okay, food and oxygen. You're breathing it in, right? Breathing in. For me and you. Okay. All right. Now look at your partner. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. The sun and the rain and the sea. O2 makes food and oxygen. For me and you. Okay. Find somebody else to do this with. Find somebody else. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The sun and the rain and the sea. O2 makes food and oxygen for me and you. Okay, sit down. Okay. I know you feel like that's the dumbest thing ever, but listen, you can get real dramatic with it. Okay? So you will remember this for your test, and you will thank me because you remember the whole photosynthesis equation. And there's an incentive for you if you perform this for all your other teachers. I will give you extra credit points for each teacher that emails me, up to 4 teachers, on this photosynthesis test. Okay? Let me tell you what you have to do. Silencio, por favor, mis estudiantes de biología. Okay.
Wow. Somebody's been practicing their Spanish.
I have really been practicing. Okay. If you ask your teacher, say, Miss Emma wants me to tell you or show you the photosynthesis song and dance, so like, all right, show me. And you do da 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 da. You can do it in front of the class. Okay, I've already had teachers email me from my second class.
It has to be in front
No,
of
I said you can. It's up to you. If you're like gung ho about this, get it done. Okay. But the teacher has to email me who did it, so that I know I'm adding those points to your test. Okay. Deal? Deal.
How many points?
Photosynthesis test.
How many points?
4 teachers. Test is next week. I don't remember what
So
it is.
we have time.
Yeah. Write this down so you don't forget it. Test is benchmark. Monday is a benchmark. And I can't count it. Paige, yes. I'm letting you write this down.
Write it on a piece of paper and have them sign it.
If you have them sign it, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. I'm talking to the class.
If we do it in front of the class, can it just be for one class?
Sure, that's up to you. You can do it in front of the class. I mean, I'm doing up to 4 points whenever teachers email me or let me know. It's good. All right, so remember your song, and if you're a picture person, there you go. The sun No!
Are you still there, Gavin?
That's in
Son!
that's in the recording.
Oh, it is on the recording. Oh, Gavin's back. Gavin, you know the song.